Hi guys, I wanted to do another meter today. So let's think about the dactyl, a dactylic meter. Before we were talking about Shakespeare's iambic pentameter, which is one unit of stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed syllable. So let's think about that. Do you remember how it goes? So shall I compare the two as some as day? One unstressed, one stressed syllable, 5 units in every 10-syllable line. We said it was a unit, it was a meter most used by Shakespeare and the most popular in the English language. So now let's go on to something different. I want to take a look at the meter called the dactylic meter today, which is a bit more complicated and it's not as appropriate for every situation as the iambic pentameter. You really have to find the right subject for most of these other meters in the English language. The dactyl, well, you'll soon see what kind of meter it is. We'll be looking at the poem The Voice by Thomas Hardy today, and this is written in dactylic meter, so you will see the kind of movement of the words and the lines when we read this. So let me first read the poem, which I have here on my mobile phone. The Voice by Thomas Hardy. Woman, much missed how you called to me, saying that now you are not as you were, when you had changed from the one who was all to me, but as at first when our day was fair. So, what about this? The movement of the lines definitely has particular meter, right? So, how is it? Woman, much missed how you called to me, called to me. Woman, much missed how you called to me, called to me. So it's a stressed syllable followed by two unstressed. Woman, much missed how you call to me, call to me. So there are 12 syllables in the line and 4 feet, 3, 6, 9, 12. Three syllables in every foot. What how you call to me, saying that now you are not as you were. So second line, second line, 3 dactylic feet. Remember, a dactylic foot is 3 syllables, stressed syllable followed by 2 unstressed. Woman much missed how you called to me, saying that now you are not as you were. So, Mita, let's continue reading the poem because this will give an idea of what kind of content is necessary. So, can it be you that I hear? Let me view you then, standing when I drew near to the town, where you would wait for me. Yes, as I knew you then, even to the original air blue gown. So the meter is the same and it continues. Can it be you that I hear? Let me view you then, standing as when I drew near to the town, where I would wait for you. Yes, as I knew you then, even to the original air blue gown. Sometimes it changes the dactylic meter a little bit, some syllables, because it doesn't want to get too predictable. But basically, the base, the foundation is always this dactylic meter. Let's finish it. Or is it only the breeze and its listlessness travelling across the wet mead to me here, you being forever dissolved to existlessness, heard again never far or near? Thus I, faltering forward, leaves around me falling, wind oozing thin through the thorn from Norwood, and the woman calling. Sorry, I couldn't see the last couple of lines for a moment. So, yeah, so it continues in the same style. And what's the effect? The effect is to create a kind of incantation, a kind of spell. What's he talking about? He's talking about his dead wife who uh, he had a bad relationship with at the end. But they had loved each other earlier. He's walking across the moor on his way home, and he can hear his the voice of his dead wife. It seems creates a sense of a spell, an incantation. Woman much missed, how you called me, saying that now you are not as you were when, or can it be you that I hear? Let me view you then. Standing is when I drew near to the town, where you would wait for me. Yes, as I knew you then, even to the original herb blue gown. So he's hopeful. He's thinking about the times in the past when she would wait for him in this place, and he's even considering the dress she used to wear, the air blue gown. And he's thinking specifically about when they were happy together, when their lives were good. And then he thinks, well, no, surely cannot be. Everything's changed. She's dead. It cannot be her voice. Even if it was, everything had changed at the end, and we were not the people we had been before. So there is this verse, or is it only the breeze and its listlessness traveling across the wet mead to me here, you being forever dissolved in existlessness, heard again never, far or near. So yeah, it's probably just the wind. It's she's dead. She's not likely to have come back to speak to him. And at the end of their lives, they had a hard time together. So it's not likely to be her. It's probably just the wind. So there is the usual Thomas Hardy element of tragedy about the poem, and then the whole structure falls apart at the end. No longer dactyl. It just breaks up into a very simple little meter. Thus I, faltering forward, leaves around me falling, wind easing through the thorn from norward, and the woman calling. So it's no longer dactylic. It's like coming out of a spell. Suddenly he's alone on the moor, and the weather is terrible, and the leaves are falling around him. But he can hear the woman calling. But is it really a woman calling, or is it only his imagination thinking about this? He obviously feels regret and sorrow, remorse for the way their relationship ended. It used to be beautiful at the beginning, but became something different, a kind of living hell probably later on. And he is remembering how it was at the beginning now. And the element of guilt is coming into it. How much was he to blame for the way things fell apart? And there is a hope that perhaps he can apologize. Maybe he can put it right. He can speak to the woman. He can tell her what happened. They can discuss it in a way they never did before. But then in that last verse, it comes home to him that he will never speak with her again. It's everything is finished. It's the end. And yeah, it's probably just the wind making a noise that sounds like a voice. So there is a tragic element. No, he would like to say sorry, he'd like to ask why things went the way they did. However, he will never get the chance to speak to her again. That verse, the third one, or is it only the breeze and its listlessness traveling across the wet mead to me here, you being forever dissolved in existlessness, heard again never, far or near. It's very strong and powerful, I think. Existlessness is what we call a neologism, a kind of invented word. I don't think existlessness exists. So the pity is that he changed it. In a revised version, he changed it to one wistlessness, which I think is far weaker and more ordinary. So whenever I read the poem, I always revert to the original version, even though he did revise it, and most modern editions will go with one wistlessness, which seems very dated now. But existlessness still seems modern, a modern turn of idea. So I think it's very clear about this dactylic meter with its stressed, unstressed, unstressed syllable, but in each unit. But yeah, it's completely different to the iambic pentameter, and it cannot be used as generally as the iambic pentameter is, but it's still useful, and we can see it in suitable poems. Another one would be the Charge of the Light Brigade by Tennyson. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, into the valley of death rode the 600. Cannon to right of them, cannon to left of them, volleyed and thundered. Into the valley of death rode the 600. This is also dactylic, unstressed syllable followed by stressed, and stressed syllable followed by two unstressed. So it's suitable also for Tennyson's poem because it gives the idea of galloping along, the horses galloping along, half a league, half a league, half a league onward. However, in Hardy's case, it creates this incantation, this spell. However, you have to find suitable subject for it. It's not as generally applicable as iambic pentameter is, which you can kind of use for anything almost. So we've looked at a couple of meters in the English language which are used for poetry now. The iambic pentameter, the most important, and the dactylic meter of Hardy's poem The Voice and The Charge of the Light Brigade by Alfred Tennyson. So hope this was useful, and if it was, please click the like button, and more videos on meters in English poetry and on poems in general will be coming later. So thank you very much for your attention.